everybody, and welcome back to my YouTube channel. Of course, I'm the first year business coach, and today I'm going to be going over the 7 mistakes that you're currently making when planning out your content for your business. So if you need help seeing what mistakes you're making and you're like, "So I'm not doing something right, this doesn't feel normal, this doesn't feel natural, this isn't smooth," then keep watching. Now, after you finish watching this video, I will highly recommend you check out my other video where I'm going to be telling you how I plan out 1 month of content for my business. So that way you'll see how to do it the right way versus the mistakes that you're probably making right now whenever you're planning out your content. But if this is something that interests you, let's hop right on in. The first mistake is a very common mistake. I see so many business owners make this. You are planning out spare of the moment content just to get something posted. I know you haven't posted in 2 weeks and you're like, "Oh my God, girl, I need to get something out. I ain't got nothing to post today." Okay, but stop doing that, because what's going to happen is you posting spare of the moment content is going to end up providing a lack of value to your audience, right? Because the more planning and the more detail you go into creating your content, the higher the quality it is. But if you're planning something right off the top of the dome just to get it out there, a lot of the times it's like fluff content. It's something just to get up, whether it be a quote or something that's not of high value, something that is not bookmarkable. Like it's something that's just there. And as a result, it can tarnish your brand. Now, don't get me wrong. Some people can come up with some bomb spare of the moment content, but a lot of the times the spare of the moment content is not of quality, and you can kind of tell that you just put something up just to get it up. And I would much rather you plan out your content so that you're not having those moments of, "What do I post? What do I post? Let me hurry up and get something out there." And that's why I said watch my other video, because once you do the new method, then it will be so much easier for you to know what to post, and you'll never have that question anymore. Moving on to mistake 2. Another mistake that I see a lot of business owners make whenever they're planning out their content is having a lack of planning systems or a workflow. This is so important. If you don't take anything else from this video, take this mistake right here. You need some type of system for your content planning. And this is, you having a lack of a system is also what's causing you to create spare of the moment content. Whenever you don't have any type of system or workflow, this causes different content ideas to kind of fall through the cracks. You don't remember where you left your content ideas. You just did the blue or the bullet points for this one piece of content, and you don't remember where you put it. And now you got to start all over again. Like, that's when you start having those type of situations pop up. Another reason why you need systems is because if you don't, you will not be able to repurpose your content. So a part of having a system is having a content bank. So that way, once you post a specific type of content on a specific topic, you should have those bullet points or whatever it is that you covered in that piece of content put over into your content bank. So that way, if you ever come back to that topic again, you don't have to plan it out again. You could just repurpose what you've already planned out previously and repost it on your platform. You can add a different picture. You can add it with a video this time, however you want to do it. Maybe you create a carousel post of a topic and you have 5 steps on how to do this. And then next month, you want to actually do a video on that same topic. Remember, people receive information differently. They like to get information from either reading, from podcasting, from watching YouTube videos. So you being able to repurpose that content by having that system is going to make it a lot easier for you during the planning process. And then going over to the workflow, you not having a workflow is causing you to run around like with your head chopped off when it comes to planning content. You need some type of workflow from start to finish. And what does this look like? For one, you need a system and a workflow for when you're going to plan out your content. There should be a specific time or day weekly that you are sitting down and just planning out content. You also need a day for actually creating the content, whether that be recording the video, whether that be recording a podcast, or creating the carousels for your Instagram, or creating the TikToks and Reels for your TikTok or your Instagram page. And then you need a day where you are actually editing. I call it post-production. So post-production is where you're actually putting all the pieces together. That's when you're editing and fine-tuning your videos That's when you're editing and fine-tuning your podcast. That's when you're adding your titles or doing whatever to your TikToks and your Reels. But having a system, that way you know, okay, I'm going to plan my content out on this day. I'm going to record my content on this day. I'm going to edit my content on this day and schedule it to go out on whatever is in your content calendar. This mistake causes you to run around with your head chopped off and also feel like you're constantly having to figure out what to post. And here's the thing. Content creation is a heavy task, right? We don't always get dressed. I know for me personally, I don't get dressed every single day of the week. I work from home, so I don't have to technically get dressed if I don't want to. But I know when I'm creating content, I want to look a certain way. I want to present myself in a certain fashion. So I would rather create all of my content in that day when I'm prepared to get dressed. I got my stuff on. I got, I'm looking pretty. I got my outfits ready. And just record all of it on one day. And then instead of going straight into editing, I can break because it's a heavy task. And then on another day, I could be like, okay, now I'm going to go back through all of the content that I created. In post-production, I'm going to edit this content to prepare it to go out next week or whatever week that you're going through. So that's mistake 2. And this is going to kind of go right into mistake 3 of not repurposing content. You are a content creation machine. You are not repurposing the content that you're posting though. And if you would just go through your Instagram page, for example, and copy and paste your captions to a content bank and maybe add a topic at the top. If you need to know what platform you can use for a content bank, I highly recommend Trello. Trello is free. You don't have to pay for it. And that's where my content bank is. So that way it's a very drag and drop friendly platform. You just copy and paste the information and then just put it back into a new post. You should be repurposing content. You shouldn't be creating new content for 12 months out of the year. Like some of this stuff you should be repurposing because it still has high value and people may not have seen it the first time you posted it. If you're getting new followers on a regular basis, then you need to repost that post that you did really well on 3 months ago because this new follower ain't see it. And there's no guarantee that they went through your page all the way back from 3 months just to find a post like that. So you should be repurposing content, and if you're not, you're making mistake number 3. Moving on to mistake number 4. Your content doesn't have a theme or direction that is going in. So you're covering all these different topics, and none of these topics are going together. So let me give you an example. So right now, my content theme for the month is content planning. For the entire month, I'm going to be talking about planning content, how to plan and schedule out content. And the reason for this is because I have 6 core topics that I cover throughout the year. And I highly recommend you have content topics, but we'll talk about that later. But I have 6 topics that I recycle or repurpose throughout the year. And another one, for example, is business planning. So if I'm telling you your content planning mistakes right now, and then for the rest of the week, I go into business planning, it's like they don't go together. They go together in the planning stage, but if I'm trying to help you get your content planning together, shouldn't I stick on that topic to help you? Like once I tell you the mistakes, then tell you how to do it, and then the steps to do it, and da-da-da-da. That's how your content should flow. If you're covering a specific thing, then stay on that for a little bit. And I find that staying on it for at least a month gives you time to hit on the pain points, the struggles, hit on the how-tos, the tips, the step-by-step, that type of stuff, and give you room to do your pitch whenever you need to do your pitch. So you are basically giving out information to your audience and then warming them up to whatever your product is that you're going to be selling in that specific theme or in that specific topic. Not doing this, however, can overwhelm your audience because it's like you're dropping gems, but you're dropping gems that are not realistically consumable for your audience to take action on, right? Because they're like, oh man, okay, she's right. I have been doing that. I do need to change doing that. But then you don't come back to it for like a month, right? Because you're covering all these different things. So it's like, I don't know how to explain what I'm trying to say. Hopefully you understand what I'm trying to say. Like lead them through the journey with your content. Lead them through. If you're going to talk about mistakes, then make sure you're also talking about the how-to, and then make sure you're leading them to the next step, whether it be your program, subscribe, whatever your call to action is. And mistake number 5. And I think that because there's so many people giving advice on what to do, that you can easily fall into this mistake. And mistake number 5 is having no goal or purpose behind your content. So you're basically like, you're dropping gems and you just dropping gems for free. Like you don't have a product behind these gems. You don't have a program behind these gems. You don't have any type of revenue generating source or resource behind you dropping these gems. Now, it's different if you're dropping gems in an area that you just want to provide for free and you're like, look, this is for, my audience. I just want them to have this. But don't let that be all of your content, right? Because we are in the business of making money at the end of the day. And so make sure that you have a goal for why you are talking about what you're talking about, whether it be to generate leads, because your next step is to generate leads for them to join your email list, or whether it's to grow your YouTube channel. I mean, don't get me wrong. On YouTube, you could be giving out a ton of free content on here because you want to grow your platform so that you can start getting brand deals, so that you can get monetized and things like that. So different platforms calls for a different purpose depending on the type of business owner that you are or the type of business model that you have. But you want to know that if you are giving out free content, any type of content that's free is like the podcast, the YouTube channel or YouTube videos, your carousels, going live on different platforms, you want to make sure there's a purpose behind that. Are you wanting them to really, really trust you, build a relationship with you online to the point where they're ready to book with you? Are you looking to just grow your subscriber count? Are you looking to get some clients? Are you looking to sell a course or a product or something? You need to have a purpose behind why you're posting what you're posting. And now let's move on to mistake number 6. Mistake number 6 is lacking of researching Mistake number 6 is you're not researching, you're just assuming what your audience wants. Whenever you're posting or planning out your content, you want to first make sure that there's a need, first of all. And a great way to do this, if you already have like an established audience or you at least have a little audience, ask questions. Ask them before you go into all of this planning of this topic. Hey, is anyone interested in learning about this? Hey, is anyone currently making this mistake in this area? Or whatever those questions are that will kind of let you know, yes, my audience is interested in this topic. Let me move forward. This is going to save you a lot of low engagement and low interest. Because if your audience isn't interested in it, then there's no point in covering it, right? So you want to do your research, and even like, let's say if you don't have an audience. If you don't currently have an audience, then look at people's audience who are similar in your niche that have a more established brand and see if they're covering those same topics, if their audience is very interested in those topics as well. Because a lot of the times you could do research on other people's platforms, because if you're targeting the same person, then once they do discover your page, then they're going to be like, oh yeah, she's covering this. Let me see what she's talking about. Or, oh yeah, he's covering that. Let me see like what he's talking about in reference to that area. And if this is for my YouTubers, if you are covering a topic, make sure that the topic is searchable. So this is dealing with SEO, search engine optimization. This is when you get into keywords. This is when you get into using certain hashtags or whatever, depending on what platform you're on. But a lot of the times, if you are growing your audience at this time or growing your subscriber base or whatever, if you're a YouTuber specifically, you want to come up with titles that are going to be searchable. And the best way to do that is to, whatever title that you think you want to use, put it in the search bar and see what comes up with that title. And I'm hoping that if you're a YouTuber, you have something called vidIQ, where you can actually see how the titles rank in search. You can see what hashtags other people are using. That's also a free platform if you haven't downloaded vidIQ, or highly suggest it if you're a YouTuber, so that way you can see behind the scenes of what people are using for their keywords and see what type of titles are ranking in search. Also, whenever you're researching and planning out this content, make sure that you have a call to action, so that way whenever you are creating your content, you're giving your audience a next step for what to do after they receive that information. And now we're on to mistake 7, and I have tried to say mistake 7 like 3 times, so hopefully I get it right because it's a tongue twister. And that is not content batch planning. I don't know why that didn't want to come out. Not content batch planning. Okay, I've had to say that a lot. So what I mean by that, you're creating one piece of content at a time. And this goes back to, I think, mistake number 1, where you're planning spare of the moment content. Stop creating content one piece at a time. Like, who's posting once a week, right? And even if you're not posting once a week, who wants to wreck their brain every day to try to come up with what they're going to be posting today? So the best method or strategy to use is to batch content plan. I said it right that time. Do it in batches. And that basically just means planning out multiple pieces of content at one time. If you're planning for your YouTube channel, I plan out all of my content at one time for the entire month. Whether it be for YouTube, for your podcast, your TikToks or Reels, your Instagram posts, whatever. I have all of the topics that I want to cover written down by the end of my content planning period. And then all I have to do is just disperse the content out throughout the month. I have content planning days where I sit down, I'm like, okay, I'm going to plan out this video scripts for all of my YouTube videos. I'm going to plan out all the video scripts for my podcast videos. I'm going to plan out what carousel posts or what TikToks and Reels I'm going to post. And I just do that in a rotation basis. So that's what I would recommend. Tell me in the comments, which mistake have you been making? And if you've been making more than one, put which mistakes you've been making in the comment section below. I would love to hear if you have any other video ideas you would like for me to do in reference to how to plan content for your social media, for YouTube, for your podcast. Let me know in the comment section below. If you're still with me to the end of this video, then thank you so much for watching. Thank you so much for your support. If you haven't already, make sure you hit the like button and subscribe so that you can get more tips on how to plan out your content for your social media, for your YouTube, or any other platform that you're using. And until next time, I'll see you in the next video. Bye.